Hello, everyone, and welcome to Confidence Leads to Success interview series with me, Elif Köse. Today is our last interview of International Women's Day special series, and we are ending it with a creative force birthing new paradigms with all who dare to enter. And learning consciousness coach Harriette Jackson's story is so moving and will give you goosebumps. I cannot wait to talk to her and interview her. And I just want to talk to you about her. What followed for her was a journey that no one could have ever predicted. From the brink of a bankruptcy, a spiritual awakening occurred. Through enormous realization and initiations, Harriette was able to heal her own wounds, release herself from the conditioning of the patriarchy, and surrender fully to her soul's mission to bring the true meaning of abundance back to planet Earth. Just saying that gives me goosebumps. This inspirational journey provided key teachable lessons which took her from £250,000 of debt to millionaire status in just 3 years. It's just so inspirational. And she now serves a global clientele base of creative and spiritual freelancers, fellow entrepreneurs, and individuals on the path to self-growth and spiritual ascension by sharing her 4 pillars of conscious abundance, together with the 11 universal laws downloaded to her from Source in 2017. Pay attention to this conversation because it will change your life, ladies. Hello, darling Harriette, welcome.
Thank you so much, and a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is so, my first question, and I know everybody is having the same question after my introduction. How did you find your gift?
It was one of those serendipitous, repeated moments that kept happening that I just couldn't ignore. So as you mentioned in the introduction, in my early to mid-20s, I went through a really dark time. I attempted suicide. I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I hate to use the word victim, but I was victim to a horrible betrayal by friends and employees of mine, which through a whole different series of events found me on my knees. And the way I write about it and the way I've spoken about it over the years was that I was broken in every way a woman could possibly be broken. I was spiritually broke, financially broke, I was heartbroken, I was emotionally broken, psychologically, mentally, like every which way a woman can feel broken, I was broken. And it was, I suppose, in that darkest time, and I'm sure many women can relate to this, that the only thing left to listen to is that tiny little spark, like the soul seed that still lives. Because when all parts of humanness have died, and when all parts of our humanness are in grief or in suffering, the thing that still shines bright is
within us,
absolutely. And it was just this tiny little whisper, and it told me to go explore Kundalini yoga. It told me to go see psychics and tarot readers and crystal healers and all this stuff that I'd never heard of before, and I thought it was all crazy and just woo-woo, and I was such a cynic. I didn't believe in any of it, but just this thing inside me just kept pushing me back. And so eventually I was fully immersed in this world, and people kept saying to me, "You've got a psychic gift, you know, you've got a psychic gift." And I was like, "No, don't be ridiculous. I absolutely do not." enough people said it that I kept seeing the serendipity in it. I was like, there's something in this, there's something in this. So I actually started to pursue it. I found a few different teachers. I started learning the craft. That took me in a multiple different directions. I ended up training as a priestess. I initiated as a priestess at the end of 2017. That's when I established my source channel, so my communication with God or with source, whatever you want to call it. And ever since then, I've been using it to help women all over the world.
It's just so moving. As I was listening to you, I had goosebumps all over my body, because being able to, what you went through as a person, as a woman, like being betrayed, losing your finances, losing your trust. And I bet you had the feeling of like literally giving up, and you've just said it. You even wanted to commit suicide, like life comes to an end and you feel, and then from that, literally from deep down, and how you went back up by just focusing in you, in your own gift, and being able to unleash that. It's just so phenomenal.
It's for me, it was following the nudges, and this is something that I hold space for with all of my clients. Those soul nudges, that thing that kind of pushes you in directions which seem a little bit random or a bit odd or a bit strange or don't make any logical sense, encouraging my clients to follow those nudgings is a massive part of the work that I do, because the soul doesn't make sense. Our comeback stories don't make sense. The phoenix rising from the ashes doesn't make sense. Patriarchal conditioning has us convinced and believing that life is a linear process, that it's a line that goes like this, but that couldn't be less true. The feminine is chaotic, the feminine is messy, the woman is expansive. Our energy as women is completely different to the energy of men. So we
That's
do
right.
get these bizarre callings and these strange nudgings and intuitions. Follow it, follow it, follow it, because I see so many women ignoring that feeling, that calling, that pulling, because they think it's not normal, or it doesn't make sense, or it's not logical, or it's not safe, or it's not responsible. And we try to put ourselves as women into these boxes that society's made for us.
Yeah.
We should go to college, and we should get an education, and then we should get a good job, and we should climb the career ladder, and we should put money in a savings pot, and we should get married, and we should have 2 children, and we shouldn't use too many credit cards, and we shouldn't take out loans, and we shouldn't set up businesses, and we shouldn't do
Yeah.
anything too risky, and we shouldn't speak too loud, and we shouldn't be too much, and we shouldn't dress a certain way, and we shouldn't say. And to that, I just say stop, because your soul the whole time is trying to say to you, no, wear the
No.
clothes, say the thing, set up the business,
Yeah.
invest the money, take the time off, go traveling, stay single until you're 40, 50, 60, have kids, don't have kids, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Don't try to fit in. Just be you.
Just be fully you. And those soul nudgings and those soul intuitions, they're always there. But for me, it took a complete and utter breakdown of my humanness for me to be able to really listen to my soul and recognize her voice and follow her. And I followed her religiously ever since, to some very weird and wonderful journeys that I've been on in the last 10 years, but all
Wow.
have borne the most incredible fruit and given me the most incredible human experience. And like you say, I now get to help people with that gift.
That is so great. So how do you help your clients? How does the process work?
Oh, it's a real mix. Because I've got such a strong entrepreneurial background. I've been in business for 15, 16 years now. I set up my first company when I was 18. So
Wow.
I've got a lot of experience building multi-6 and 7-figure businesses. I'm very strategic, I'm very entrepreneurial, I'm very savvy. So that's still a huge part of the work that I do. I still run several companies. I've got my music school, I've got my dance studios, my yoga studios, my coaching company. I'm setting up an education foundation. So the business strategy of what I do, that's still a very strong piece. But then layered with that is the spiritual side and the scientific side. So this is where my psychic clairvoyance comes in. I'm also a channel for source. So I communicate with God, source, higher self, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has their own interpretations, but I communicate with my own, and I communicate with the channel of my clients, because everybody has
That's so
a channel.
amazing.
And then I use other gifts. So numerology is a huge part of the work that I do, because I'm a priestess of light. Numerology is like my love language. I'm obsessed with it. So I read numerology for my clients. And lots of priestess divination. So priestess divination is working with things like the moon, with the cyclical nature of women, of the earth, tarot, crystals, oracle. It's the divine feminine magic is what I'd call it. So I weave together this energetic intelligence, this priestess divination magic, and this strategic business entrepreneurial mind, and help my clients build a life and a business that breaks the norms, that builds an entirely new paradigm, that literally says, hey, I get to do it my way. My work is for the brave. I will say that. You've got to have some real balls to come work with me and say, you know what, I want to build a whole new paradigm, a whole new world that defies what is normal. Because if I stand for anything, for myself and for my daughter especially, I have a daughter and a son, but for women in this world, I really stand for us being able to defy the odds, to stick a finger up to the patriarchy and say, well, you said we could only do this, but look at what we're doing now. Really elevating women so that they feel that they can be pioneers on the front line of a changing world, one that they are building for themselves. That's what I'm passionate about.
I love it. It is so good. I love that how you have got such a beautiful mix of skill set that you will be able to help. But I'm sure when clients come to you, like they come with one need, but you can see what they actually need behind that, what they want, but what they need is completely different. And being able to help them in that such special way is
Absolutely.
so
There's
amazing.
there's a running joke in the Ask Harriette family where they say clients come for the money because I'm known as the money consciousness queen. One of my signature programs is the money consciousness course. So people come to me because they want to make more money. So they always say we come for the money, but we stay for the magic. People come
Oh, I
into my
love it.
world wanting to make more money for themselves. They actually realize once they're there that yes, we can make lots of money, but beyond that, there's the magical part of self-belief and self-love and self-discovery and energetic intelligence and divine feminine magic and the impact that we get to make as women in this world. You know, it's so much more than money. But for a lot of women, and I do understand and I can relate, they seek out help because their businesses aren't making enough money, or they find themselves in difficult financial situations, or you know they want to help build their business, whatever it is. I understand that money is a driving force, but there's so much more to the work that we do that goes beyond money.
That's just so. I'm going to ask you about these 11 universal laws. How did you create that? What is it? Could you open that up a bit and tell us what
Absolutely.
is that all about?
Absolutely. So, firstly, I didn't create the 11 universal laws. I downloaded them from source. So, when I say source, I mean God, angels, universe, whatever you want to call it. My relationship with that divinity, for me, I call it source. So, when I initiated as priestess, I was in my final stages of my priestess training. This was towards the end of 2017. And I was sat in channel with source. And this voice came through and said, are you familiar with the law of attraction? I said, yes, of course. I used it to change my life. You know, I'm a huge advocate of the law of attraction. They went, well, it's a little bit outdated and there's an upgrade that's available to all of humanity. I said, okay. They said, would you like to receive this information? I was like, yes, absolutely, of course, 100%. And they said, well, we will give you this information. We will pass on what we now call the 11 universal laws on the condition that you commit to teaching this to as many people as possible. We want you to get this work out there. People need to understand the 11 universal laws. I was like, okay, all right, amazing. So then over the course of 3 weekends, they downloaded the information into me. So I received it literally through my channel, 4 laws over 3 weekends. Actually, I think it was 10 initially, and then the 11th one dropped in a little bit later. And these laws, when they dropped in and I began to integrate and embody them and understand them and like translate them into the English language, blew my mind. It's like the law of attraction 2.0 on steroids. The law of attraction is amazing for manifesting. I'm sure many women watching here can relate. But when they introduced me to things like the law of co-creation, the law of abundance, the law of expansion, the law of karma, the law of morality, the law of assignment, the law of alignment, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you. There's loads. It literally began to blow my mind. And so I started applying them myself, obviously, because I wanted to understand them before I actually went on to teach them. And then I started teaching them via Zoom on online video calls. And then my channel dropped back in and they said to me, this is all well and good you teaching it on Zoom, but now we want you to take this global. We want you to teach it in person. We want you to go on a world tour to 18 different cities. And it was the most bizarre.
Did you actually write it down somewhere, or did you just keep it all inside you?
No, I wrote it down, so I was teaching it. You can still do the class on my website. It's £44. We've kept it deliberately so affordable because my spirit team were very clear. Make this accessible.
Yeah.
People need to receive this information. So as a digital online course, it's on my website. It's £44. You're all more than welcome to go bag yourselves a copy. And then at the beginning of 2018, I also went around the world and taught it in person, and I think we reached nearly 2 million people in 2018.
Wow, that's amazing. Huge congratulations. So you are spreading your gift to help people. It's just so satisfying.
Very.
Oh my God. So, sorry, keep going. I could listen to you for ages. Keep going. I love it.
So yeah, we took the 11 Universal Laws on tour. Before we even got there, they said to me, we want you to go all around the world. We want you to deliver this in person. It's really important that people get this tangible teaching. I was like, right, okay, fine. How are we going to do this? They wanted me to go to Australia, the US and Canada, and they also wanted me to do a stop in the UK. And so they gave me all of the cities. It was very clear that I was to do this very quickly. So I did 18 cities in 6 weeks.
Wow.
I know, it was hardcore. I then went to price it all up, and it was going to cost me around £20,000, so about 30,000 US dollars to do it. So I went back to my channel and I said, listen, this is great. Like, I love the idea, but I don't have £20,000 just, at my disposal. And they said, listen, don't worry about that. We'll sort it out for you. If you're committed to doing this, the money will appear. I was like, right. Okay.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps.
I kid you not, the next day, 2 clients approached me and wanted to pay in full for my one-to-one package. £22,000 appeared in my account in less than 24 hours. And my channel dropped back in, and they went, there you go, there's the money, off you go. So I booked the flights, I booked the hotels, I booked the speaking venues, I reached out to partners all over the world. We pulled together massive rooms of women. In some cities, I was speaking to hundreds of women at a time. In Australia, we did a live stream to 2 million. But then in some cities, I literally had like 3 or 4 women, so it was a huge different array of experiences and personal connections. And the day before I flew on the first leg of that tour, I found out I was pregnant with my first child. So I did the whole thing pregnant in my first trimester. It was a wild ride. It was incredible. I made so many friends. I met so many incredible women that I've still got connections with now. Lots of them became clients. And that's where the coaching business, Ask Harriette, that's where it really began to take off. And I really established my trust with channel, with source, but then also still applying all of my business entrepreneurial strategic pieces. And that was at the beginning of 2018. And the business has just continued to grow and grow and grow and grow. We've got clients now in countries all over the world. We've got amazing communities. We've got loads of different signature programs and courses. I've developed my work now so that I'm not just teaching on universal law and divine feminine priestess gift, but I'm also training priestesses. I'm teaching money consciousness. I'm teaching business strategy. I'm teaching energetic intelligence, emotional intelligence, queening, and all of this information just comes through that source channel. So it's like pure original information. And I teach it and I love it. And sometimes I certify people in my work and I see them to go on and build their own businesses. I've trained priestesses. They've gone on to do their own channel work. It's just beautiful. And there's just this ripple effect of women stepping into their power and teaching.
That's what we need, what we are doing. I mean, this is why I love connecting with women like yourself, because I want to see more women in their power. I want them to be in every place. And I remember one of your lives and I was just watching it in tears, and agreeing with every word you were saying about how we need to really work together and support each other, and how I cannot understand these toxic feminism, and how could you be intimidated by other people's success, other women's success. I just cannot understand. And this is why I really love what you do and how passionate you are. And it comes across. You can see that. You can see and how you, what I want to ask you, I'm sure some of the listeners are all also like dying me to ask you this question. So if someone wanted to if they didn't have anything, like if they think this is all a woo-woo, and they want to be introduced, what should they expect from your 11 universal law? If they were to, what should they expect, and what would help them to identify about themselves or business?
Okay, so the 11 universal laws, for me, it explains how the universe works. It
Okay.
explains life. It explains energy. I mean, when they first delivered it to me, bear in mind I was still quite cynical, because I'd come from a world that didn't entertain magic or divination or feminine or energy, like nothing like that. I was hardcore businesswoman. So for me, it explained why things happen. The experiences that we go through in our human lives, why things happen. They're either assignments or they're reflections, and they're all guiding posts to teach us something. Like that was one of the things that dropped in, and I was like, oh my God, I get it. Like I literally understand now why my life has happened the way it's happened. And then moving forward with this information, I was like, oh, and now I can see where I'm being guided, how I'm being guided, how the universe is responding to me. My mother, bless her, who is a hardcore cynic and also a hustle bunny entrepreneur, that's where I get it from, even she is on board with the 11 universal laws. As I started to explain it to her, she was like, oh my God, I get it. Now that's as far as she goes, because she's old school, my mum, as you can imagine. She's in her 60s.
Yeah.
Like she's not one to start changing her beliefs now,
Yeah.
but she's fully on board with the 11 universal laws. So it's a universal language that everybody can understand. When they started explaining to me about the law of co-creation, I suddenly realized that this whole mindset of we have to create everything we want for ourselves, I started to realize how toxic that is, because it's not true. And when we try to create our own success, when we try to do everything for ourselves, and women are renowned for this because we've got the martyrdom wound, we've got the mother wound, all women have it. We think we've got to be all the things to all of the people, do all of the things for all of the people, juggle all of the roles, be in all of the places, right? So we're naturally in this rhythm of trying to do everything by ourselves. We're breaking the law of co-creation. When I understood what the law of co-creation was and how to actually co-create with the universe, my energy, my mindset completely shifted. I stopped trying to do all the things, to be the person to all of the people, be in all the places. My nervous system settled. I started to relax. I found peace in myself. Then when they dropped in the law of abundance, and one of the key things that we teach in that class is you have a right and responsibility to abundance. All of a sudden, I started to see the whole world as equal, because we're sold a story from being children that a certain small percentage of the world are extremely wealthy and they are greedy and they are not nice people and you don't want to be like them. And then the rest of the world has to share the rest of the wealth. They talk about the 1%, and they always talk about how billionaires who own all of these companies and own so much of the world's wealth are greedy and horrible people, and you wouldn't ever want to be like them. Well, the law of abundance completely flips that on its head. It's like, actually, we've all got a right and responsibility to abundance. But because we're believing these stories, we're breaking the law of abundance. So that, again, was another huge mindset piece. Understanding the law of karma, understanding the law of morality. So the way the 11 universal laws is structured, I do believe it's now 8 one-hour classes that you can watch, because there's 2 versions. So I taught a version in 2017, which was, or 2018 or 2017, around then, which was 4 one-hour classes. And then in 2020, my channel asked me to update the classes. So I taught them all again live. So there's another 4 one-hour classes. So I'm basically teaching like the original version and then the updated version. So all 8 of those classes are on the website. They're £44.
Wow.
They're just
Very
amazing.
accessible. You really want everyone to get the power of their own
Absolutely.
gift.
And
Yeah.
to put it in perspective, I've got other programs that are also 8 hours long, and I charge £2,000 for those. So it really is about honoring what Spirit said. Get these classes, these laws into the hands of as many people as possible, because I can't tell you what it did for my stress levels, for my anxiety. Like the understanding that I got from those classes just made everything make sense. And then I stopped questioning myself. I stopped doubting myself. I stopped looking elsewhere for the answers. The laws explain everything.
This is just so incredible. I'm sure everyone's like, "Where is that link now?" I'm going to put it on the show notes. I promise, it's going to be there. Literally, you'll click and take you there. But it's so I know you always have new courses, new programs, new groups. Do you have any in-person events coming up?
Yes, I think we do. Ooh, hang on. I
Tell
should
me.
I should have thought about that before I came on. I'm pretty sure it's the 8th of April. No, not the 8th, sorry, the 11th. The 11th of April, I am doing a meetup in London, which people are welcome to come to. It's completely free. So I do them every
Lovely.
months. We just meet up for coffee and we have, tea and biscuits and we hang out and we have a chat. So for anyone who's in the UK or can get themselves to London, that's an option. Other things that we've got open at the moment, for the first time ever, I am teaching channeling. So you know how I've talked about my source
Yeah.
connection? I've been doing it for long enough now, and I've taught it to a few select clients over the years that it's time for me to open a program and teach other women how to channel. Because it's one thing channeling myself and passing on that information, and obviously that's very beneficial. It's quite another to teach a woman how to channel for herself so that she can pull through her own original, unique programs,
Yeah.
courses, teachings, whatever. So that's called The Channel. That one's currently available. We've also got Priestess Paradigm open, which is my priestess training. We've also got More open, which is my energetic intelligence program, where I teach all about the 10 energy bodies and energetic intelligence, which is a signature program that's mind changing. What else have we got? The School of Mastery is our monthly membership. So that's another like low ticket one. So £49 a month. And that's like our family community where we do new trainings every month. There's a community. It's really good fun. Oh,
So
there's
who comes to you? Like who like if anybody's listening, like if they are if they're an accountant or if they're a fashion designer, if you're an artist, if they're what is there anything like who do you help?
everyone.
Every woman.
And men. We've got men in the container now, which is such a blessing. There's a really toxic narrative which I've played with for years. I've been in business for 15 years. And when I first started out in business, I very much subscribed to the idea that we needed a niche and we had to have a brand and you had to have a very specific demographic and target
Yeah.
market. That's what I call bro marketing. It's a very masculine way of running a business. Nothing wrong with it. Can be very, very successful. Over the years, I've grappled with this concept and I've shifted back and forth and back and forth. These are the people I help. These are the people I help. No, I help everyone. No, I don't. I help a specific group. And now I say simply this: if you vibe with me, if you're drawn to my energy, if I'm magnetic to you, if you're intrigued, if you want to learn more, we're a good match. Get in one of my classrooms and let's just start a relationship. For
Yeah.
me, that's what it's all about. It's having a relationship with the people that I get to serve and teach and coach. And it's about us being an energetic match for each other. You know whether you like someone, you know whether you're drawn to someone. And you know what? I trigger a lot of people. I've heard this before. Clients will come to me and they'll say, you trigger the crap out of me. Like, you're so annoying, but you're so annoying. I'm fascinated by you and I've got to learn more about how you do what you do. I've got to have your knowledge. And then once they're in the Zoom rooms and we're chatting together on Voxer or Telegram or Instagram, they're like, oh, you're like a real human being. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a relationship. For me, forget marketing. I'm all about relationships. I want to know people. I want to know your story. I want to know what you're about. I want to know where you come from. I want to know where you're going. I want to help you get there. I want to teach you stuff. I want to feed you the missing information in your world. I want to give you the bridges and the links to help you
That's
become
right.
your best self, to discover your gift, So we've got artists. We have got an account. In fact, one of my priestesses in training at the moment is an accountant.
Amazing.
Right? We've got fashion designers, we've got artists, we've got dancers, we've got musicians, we've got loads of coaches, obviously, because predominantly I'm a coaching business, so we do attract a lot of coaches. We've got homeopath, we've got hypnotherapists,
Wow.
we've got choreographers, I've got a pilot. Honestly,
Anyone.
literally anyone.
Anyone.
We've got healers,
Yeah.
we've got teachers, we've got creatives, we've got people with physical businesses, bricks and mortar businesses, digital online businesses. We get lots of mums, especially since I've had my 2 children. I attract a lot of mums. And we've got loads of people who don't even have a business. And
Yeah.
that's completely okay too. It's
Yeah.
people come into the Ask Harriette family to grow, to
Yeah.
expand. And for me, this is the true meaning of abundance. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you spiritual wealth and material wealth so that you can expand your abundant experience on this planet.
What I was thinking as you were explaining me, a lot of us, like, we know where we are, and we have kind of our future self, like an image of, but we seem to stuck into how to get there. Yeah, but how? Yeah, but how? Yes, you tell me that I can get 5 clients a month that would pay me £5,000 each. But how am I going to get there? How? When we are so stuck in the how rather than why and what we want to do, I think that's where we feel stuck. And I feel that you have that special way and special mix of gifts and skill set that you would be able to help your clients.
You're right, I do, but I never tell my clients how.
Well, they find their how themselves, probably, don't they?
They do. And again, something else that I really have an issue with in our industry is that there's too many people selling the solution to how. And they sell a solution to how, and then people don't actually get the how. Because what
Yeah.
works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. We've all got our own unique
So
path,
true.
and we've all got our own unique route. And I think people who are trying to sell their route as a match for someone else, that's where we're going to run into trouble. I'm not saying it's bad or wrong. I'm just saying there's a misalignment there. There's going to be
Yeah.
friction. There's going to be struggle. I'm all about helping you figure out who you are, what you're about, what your soul purpose is, what your soul destiny is. Yes, I help you with the strategic pieces. Yes, I help you with some of the business stuff, but it's more of a reflection. Like, have we tried this? Have we tried that? Could this work? Could that work? How do you feel? How do you feel? Where's your energetic intelligence at? What are your emotions telling you? What's your own source connection telling you? Let's work with your intuition. Let's work with your audience. It's when I work with my clients, it's about the client. It's not about what's worked for me, copy and paste how I've done it. And for my clients,
I
what they
see.
find is that they stop asking how because they simply start doing. They start
Yes.
being the
That
woman.
answered my next question. What makes you difference other than other coaches in the industry? And you've just answered it.
There
You
you
don't teach
go.
them how.
I don't teach them how because they simply start doing, and they start doing because they start becoming who they were always meant to be.
Oh, so good. So good, Harriet. Honestly, I love talking to you. It's so good to have you. I mean, ladies, I know you're all now buzzing and you're just probably already on the other tab listening Harriet's voice and looking through the 11 universal laws and all the other programs that she's already got on the offer going. It is so good to talk to you, Harriet, and I love being in your world. I love following you, and I love your light. And I don't, there's millions of people, there's hundreds and thousands of coaches and people in different industries, in the same industry, teaching the similar things. But I seem to be attracted to certain people, and I always follow my heart. And the way how I mean, when I came here, you may know my story, but when I came here as an au pair, I live in England, in the UK. I didn't know anyone. I couldn't speak a word of English. I followed my heart. I just followed my heart to come to England, to be here. And I had so many friends I worked with, they had lived in England, and they kept telling me, you got to go there, you should go there. And I just thought, everybody keeps saying, if one more person tells me to go there, I am going. And I met somebody during a meeting, a business meeting, and this same woman said to me, you should go to England, you'd like it in there. And I said, that's it, that's it.
You.
So it's really good that you are all about connecting to your source, and it is so important. Thank you. Is there something that you would like to leave our audience with?
Let me see. For International Women's Day, I think it's really important for us all to remember that we've been born and raised in a patriarchal paradigm. And as women, that's meant we started on the back foot, so to speak. But the world is changing. Humanity is evolving. The consciousness has already shifted. I speak and teach a lot on the Aquarian age. The Aquarian age started in December 2020. So we are literally on the precipice of massive, massive change. So as you ladies go about your life, your businesses, following your dreams and your hopes, every time you come up against those programmings, those conditionings of the patriarchy that tell you that you can't, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that it's impossible. Every time you find yourself asking how, I want you to remember this. It's the women who dare to question themselves, the women who dare to doubt themselves, and the women who dare to rise despite all of this, who are the women that will birth new paradigms that turn the patriarchal programming completely on its head. We are the women that will birth something completely brand new that our daughters and our granddaughters and our great-granddaughters get to look at years from now and go, my lineage did that. My ancestry did that. I am born from the power of a woman who did that. When we question ourselves, we are powerful. When we doubt ourselves, we are powerful. You are fighting against a patriarchal paradigm. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you need your power. So hold your power, keep your power, remember this power. You are on the precipice of massive change. You are a leader. And I want your daughters and your granddaughters and your great-granddaughters to see you as I do, as a powerful woman capable of powerful change.
Oh my God. Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a great end to my interview series. It's been so great to have you, Harriette. Thank you everyone for being and listening, and tune in and follow all the links I'm going to put on the show notes, because this woman is magic. Have a lovely day. Bye.